The crowds cheered as the massive ship gleamed under the morning sun. The ESS Pathfinder stood tall at the launch pad, a monument to human achievement. After decades of dreaming and 5 years of building, humanity's first true deep space vessel was ready to journey beyond our solar system. Captain Alan Mitchell looked out the viewport at the thousands of people who had gathered to witness history. At 45 years old, with graying temples and steady hands, he had spent his entire life preparing for this moment. He straightened his blue uniform and took a deep breath. "Final checks complete, Captain," said First Officer Diane Carter. Her calm voice betrayed none of the excitement Mitchell knew she felt. "All systems are green." "Thank you, Diane," Mitchell replied. "How's the crew?" "All 150 aboard and ready. Chief Engineer Wright reports the drive is operating perfectly." Mitchell nodded and turned to the communication station. "Open a channel to Mission Control." The main screen lit up, showing the serious face of Mission Director Helen Boyd. Her eyes were tired from the sleepless nights leading up to launch, but her expression was proud. "Pathfinder, this is Mission Control. You are cleared for departure. Godspeed and safe travels." Mitchell pressed the shipwide communication button. "Attention all crew. This is your captain speaking. In moments, we will leave Earth to investigate the strange signal from Ta Ceti. We carry with us the hopes and dreams of our entire planet. Everyone to departure stations." The crew moved with purpose. In the engine room, Peter Wright and his team monitored the experimental faster-than-light drive. In the science lab, Chief Science Officer Lisa Morgan checked her equipment one last time. In security, Officer Jack Rivera verified the weapons systems they hoped they'd never need to use. "Drive charging," announced Wright over the comm. 80%, 90%, ready for activation. Mitchell settled into his command chair. "Take us up, nice and easy." The giant engines rumbled to life. Slowly, the massive ship lifted from the ground. People below pointed and gasped as the Pathfinder rose higher and higher until it was just a bright spot in the blue sky. Earth grew smaller through the viewports as the Pathfinder reached orbit. The crew worked silently, focused on their tasks but aware of the weight of the moment. "Plot course for Ta Ceti," Mitchell ordered. "Course plotted and locked in," replied Navigator Steve Collins. "Estimated travel time using standard engines, 43 years. Mitchell smiled. "Good thing we're not using standard engines. Chief Wright, prepare the FTL drive for its first real test." "FTL drive ready, Captain," Wright responded, excitement clear in his voice. "We can engage when you give the word." Mitchell addressed the crew again. "This is it, everyone. The moment that changes human history forever. The moment we truly become a spacefaring species." He nodded to Carter, who began the countdown. "FTL engagement in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When she said engage, Wright activated the drive. The stars outside the viewport seemed to stretch like rubber bands, and then with a flash of light, the Pathfinder jumped to faster-than-light speed. "It worked," shouted Collins. Cheers erupted across the bridge. Even the usually serious Carter broke into a wide smile. "FTL drive functioning within expected parameters," Wright reported. "At this speed, we'll reach Ta Ceti in just under 5 months." For the next few weeks, life aboard the Pathfinder settled into a routine. The crew sent regular updates back to Earth, sharing discoveries and data. People back home followed their journey with excitement. Then, as the ship passed the edge of the Kuiper Belt, something unexpected happened. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy readings ahead," Morgan reported, frowning at her instruments. Before Mitchell could respond, the ship shuddered. Warning lights flashed across every console. "What's happening?" Mitchell demanded. "Unknown, sir," Carter replied. "Some kind of spatial disturbance. It's affecting our systems." Wright's voice came through the comm, sounding distressed. "Captain, the FTL drive is reacting to whatever's out there. I can't shut it down." The ship shuddered again, more violently this time. The lights flickered. "All hands, brace for impact," Mitchell shouted. The Pathfinder lurched forward suddenly, as if grabbed by an invisible hand. The stars outside became a blur of light. The ship's hull groaned under immense pressure. And then, silence. The emergency lights came on, bathing the bridge in red. "Damage report," Mitchell called out. "Communications array destroyed," Carter said grimly. "We've lost contact with Earth." And so began the true journey of the ESS Pathfinder, not as planned, but into the unknown depths of a galaxy that had no idea humans existed. Yet, when the emergency lights stopped flashing, Captain Mitchell looked around the bridge. His crew was shaken but alive. "Where are we?" he asked, his voice steady despite his racing heart. Lisa Morgan bent over her science station, fingers moving quickly across the screen. "Unknown, Captain. None of the star patterns match our charts." The main view screen showed unfamiliar stars against the blackness of space. In the distance, a blue-green planet orbited an orange sun. "Could we have reached Ta City somehow?" First Officer Carter suggested. Morgan shook her head. "No. These readings suggest we're thousands of light years from Earth, much farther than Ta City." A cold silence fell over the bridge. Thousands of light years meant they were far beyond where any human had ever traveled. "Chief Wright, status report on the engines," Mitchell called over the comm. Peter Wright's tired voice answered. "The FTL drive is damaged, Captain. We were caught in some kind of space current, a slipstream. It pulled us along and then spit us out here. Can we get back to Earth?" A pause. "Not directly. The navigation system is scrambled. We don't know where Earth is from here." Mitchell stood up straight, his decision made. "All senior officers to the conference room in 10 minutes. We need a plan." In the conference room, the mood was grim. Security Officer Jack Rivera spoke first. "We should find a place to land and make repairs. That planet ahead looks habitable." "Agreed," said Wright. "We need to assess all systems and fix what we can." Mitchell nodded. "Morgan, what can you tell us about the planet?" "Atmosphere is breathable. Temperature ranges similar to Earth. There are signs of vegetation. No obvious technology signals, but there is something strange about the southern continent." "Take us in," Mitchell ordered. "Slow and careful." The Pathfinder moved toward the planet, its damaged hull reflecting the light of the alien sun. As they entered orbit, they saw vast forests, blue oceans, and mountain ranges that reminded them of home. "I'm detecting artificial structures in the southern region," Morgan reported, excitement creeping into her voice. "They don't match any Earth designs." "Aliens," whispered Navigator Collins. Mitchell kept his face neutral. "Find us a landing spot near the structures, but not too close. We don't know if they're friendly." The Pathfinder landed in a clearing surrounded by tall purple-tinged trees. The crew prepared for their first steps on alien soil. Mitchell selected a small team. Himself, Carter, Morgan, Rivera, and Wright. "We're calling this place New Haven for now," Mitchell told his crew before they exited. "Stay alert. We're visitors here." The air outside smelled sweet, like cinnamon and pine. The gravity was slightly lighter than Earth's, making each step feel bouncy. The team walked carefully toward a ridge that would let them see the alien structures Morgan had detected. As they reached the top of the ridge, they froze in awe. Below them stood a city of crystal towers, curved and flowing like frozen water. But something was wrong. Several towers were broken, and smoke rose from parts of the city. "It's been attacked," Rivera said, his hand moving to his weapon. Before they could retreat, a sound came from behind them. The team turned to see creatures emerging from the forest. They stood on 6 legs, had bodies covered in hard green plates, and had large compound eyes. They carried devices that looked like weapons. "Don't move," Mitchell whispered to his team. No threatening gestures. The lead alien stepped forward, its mandibles clicking. A device on its chest glowed, and to everyone's shock, It spoke in broken English. You, not like the others. Not like the hegemony. Who are you? Mitchell stepped forward slowly. I am Captain Alan Mitchell of the Earth ship Pathfinder. We are humans, and we are lost. The aliens' compound eyes studied them. We are Vraxians. Our world burns. The hegemony destroys us. Who is the hegemony? Carter asked. The aliens' mandibles clicked rapidly, perhaps their version of a bitter laugh. The 7 races who rule this sector of galaxy. They enslave or destroy all others. More explosions sounded from the city below. The alien looked back at Mitchell. You have ship. You have weapons. Some, Mitchell answered cautiously. The Vraxians' next words would change the fate of humanity forever. Help us fight. We help you survive here. This galaxy cruel place for new species. Mitchell looked at his officers, saw the determination in their eyes, and made his decision. We will help, and we will learn. 6 months passed on New Haven. The Pathfinder sat hidden under a canopy of giant purple-leaved trees, covered with reflective materials that made it nearly invisible from above. Around it, a small settlement had grown where humans and Vraxians worked together. Peter Wright stood in what used to be the engine room, now transformed into a workshop filled with both human and alien technology. 3 Vraxian engineers clicked their mandibles as they examined a glowing blue cube. This power source is 10 times stronger than anything we had on Earth, Wright explained to Captain Mitchell, who had just entered. The Vraxians call it quantum crystal. 1 cube can power our ship for years. Mitchell nodded, impressed. Will it help us get home? Maybe someday, Wright replied. But first we need to map where we are and fix our navigation systems. The universe looks different from here. Outside the ship, Lisa Morgan worked with Vraxian scientists in a makeshift lab. She pointed to a holographic map showing hundreds of star systems. This is the territory controlled by the hegemony, she told First Officer Carter, who was taking notes. 7 major species formed an alliance centuries ago. They believe they are superior to all other life forms. And they enslave everyone else, Carter asked. Or destroy them if they resist, Morgan confirmed. The Vraxians fought back, so the hegemony decided to make an example of them. In another area of the camp, Security Officer Jack Rivera trained with a group of humans and Vraxians. They practiced with both Earth weapons and strange alien devices that fired pulses of energy. Again, Rivera instructed. Remember, hegemony soldiers rely on superior technology, not strategy. They've never needed to think creatively in battle. Nearby, a young officer named Ryan Garcia sat with the Vraxian leader, Kest. Unlike the other Vraxians who struggled with English, Kest had mastered it quickly. They studied a display showing different alien species. These are the Malicons, Kest explained, pointing to a tall, 4-armed being. They mine resources for the hegemony but secretly hate them. They could be allies. And these? Garcia asked, pointing to small furry creatures. Delvians, master engineers. Many serve as slaves on hegemony warships. Garcia made notes in his tablet. We need to contact them all. Build a network. That evening, the senior officers gathered around a fire outside the ship. The 3 moons of New Haven cast a silver light on their faces as they discussed their future. It's been 6 months, Mitchell said. Time for a decision. The repairs to the basic systems are complete. We have 2 choices. Try to find our way back to Earth, or stay and fight alongside the Vraxians. Carter spoke first. If we leave, the hegemony might eventually find Earth anyway. We've learned they're constantly expanding. And if they find Earth unprepared, Rivera didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Wright held up one of the alien devices they had modified. With what we've learned from Vraxian technology, we could improve our ship beyond anything Earth has ever seen. Morgan nodded. And the Vraxians know other species who might help us. Together, we could build something powerful. Mitchell looked at each of his officers. Earth believes we're dead. They won't be looking for us. If we stay, we might be able to create a force strong enough to protect Earth when we eventually return. Or if the hegemony finds it first, Carter added. The decision was unanimous. They would stay, learn, build, and grow stronger. They would transform the Pathfinder from an exploration vessel into something the galaxy had never seen. The next morning, Mitchell addressed the full crew, now standing side by side with their Vraxian allies. From this day forward, we are no longer just explorers. We are the foundation of a resistance. Our ship will be reborn, and so will we. A Vraxian engineer stepped forward, offering Mitchell a piece of metal with symbols carved into it. For your ship, Kes translated, a new name in our language. It means, the one who rises from destruction. Mitchell smiled. In our language, we call that a phoenix. And so the ESS Pathfinder became the Phoenix, the beginning of humanity's unexpected rise in a galaxy that had no idea what was coming. 5 years had passed since the Phoenix crew had vanished from Earth. The ship that now orbited a small moon in the Diraxis system barely resembled the vessel that had left Earth. Its hull was reinforced with alien metals that shimmered with a blue-purple glow. New weapons pods extended from its sides. The engines were twice as powerful and made almost no energy signature. Inside the command center, Captain Mitchell studied a 3D map of hegemony space. His face had new scars, and his once dark hair was now streaked with gray. Beside him stood Kist, now his trusted advisor. The slave transport will pass this asteroid field in 6 hours, Mitchell said, pointing to a blinking light on the map. We'll be waiting. Samantha Wells, who had taken over as security chief when Rivera was killed in their third battle, checked her tactical display. 5 hegemony escorts, heavily armed. Nothing we haven't handled before, Mitchell replied. Prepare the strike teams. In the hangar bay, 3 smaller ships waited. They had been captured in previous raids and modified by Wright and his engineering team. Each now carried weapons far more advanced than their original designs. Wright himself was barely recognizable. His right arm had been replaced with a Malakon cybernetic limb after an injury, and his eyes had been enhanced with Delvian optical technology. All ships ready, Captain, Wright reported through his enhanced comm unit that was now integrated directly with his nervous system. In the medical bay, Dr. Kevin Foster prepared for potential casualties. Once a junior officer, he had become chief medical officer through necessity and talent. He had adapted human medical techniques to work on their alien allies and learned alien healing methods that had saved many human lives. Medical teams standing by, Foster reported. On the bridge, Ryan Garcia monitored communications. Over the years, he had built a network of contacts among subjugated species throughout hegemony space. His team intercepted and decoded hegemony transmissions daily. All resistance cells are in position, Garcia confirmed. If this works, we'll free over 300 prisoners and gain control of a Class 3 hegemony vessel intact. Mitchell nodded and opened the shipwide channel. This is the captain. In 5 years, we've grown from a lost crew to the leaders of the largest resistance the hegemony has ever faced. Today's mission is our biggest yet. The ship we're targeting contains not just slaves, but a hegemony communication hub. If we capture it intact, we may finally learn where Earth is from here, and whether the hegemony knows about our home. The Phoenix moved silently through space, its advanced cloaking technology hiding it from hegemony sensors. 2 hours later, it positioned itself among the asteroids, waiting for its prey. When the hegemony transport arrived, it had no warning. The Phoenix and its attack ships struck simultaneously, disabling the escorts before they could send distress signals. Wells led the boarding party that captured the main transport. The battle was over in less than 20 minutes. Minimal casualties, Wells reported as the last hegemony officer was secured. We've taken the ship intact. The communication hub is ours. The freed prisoners, a mix of 7 different species, looked at their human rescuers with awe. Many had heard rumors of the mysterious new species that fought against the hegemony but had never seen humans before. Hours later, as the captured ship was being secured, Garcia called Mitchell to the communications center with urgency in his voice. "Captain, I've accessed the hegemony network," Garcia said, his face pale. "I found Earth." Mitchell's heart raced. "Can we chart a course?" "Yes, but that's not all I found." Garcia pulled up a hegemony report dated just 3 months earlier. "They've discovered Earth, Captain. A scout ship found it by accident. They're planning an invasion in 6 months." Mitchell stared at the screen in shock. After 5 years of building their strength and fighting the hegemony, they had finally found the way home, only to discover Earth was in imminent danger. "How long would it take us to reach Earth using normal space lanes?" Mitchell asked. 8 months at best," Garcia answered. "We'd be too late." Mitchell's jaw tightened. "Then we'll have to use the slipstreams." The room fell silent. The cosmic slipstreams that had brought them to this part of the galaxy were dangerous and unpredictable. Many ships that entered them were never seen again. "It's the only way," Mitchell said firmly. "Alert all our allied ships. We're going home." The fleet of 12 ships hung at the edge of the mapped slipstream, a swirling blue vortex that twisted space itself. Captain Mitchell stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, looking at the faces of his officers. They had all changed over the years, harder, more experienced, part human, and part something else now. "Last chance to back out," Mitchell said to the commanders of the other ships, their faces on the view screen. "These slipstreams are unpredictable. We might not all make it." A Vraxian captain clicked his mandibles. "Our fates joined with yours long ago, Captain Mitchell. Earth is our fight too." The Malakon commander nodded her 4 arms in agreement. "The hegemony must be stopped. We go together." Mitchell turned to Diane Carter, who had stayed by his side through everything. "First officer, prepare the ship for slipstream entry." Carter nodded, her once brown hair now completely white. "All departments report ready, Captain." In engineering, Peter Wright monitored the engines he had rebuilt 3 times over. They hummed with energy from technologies Earth scientists had never dreamed of. "Slipstream drive is hot," Wright reported. "Shield modifications complete. If this works, we'll cut travel time from 8 months to 2 weeks." "And if it doesn't work?" Mitchell asked over the private channel. Wright's mechanical eye whirred as it focused. "Then we'll be scattered across half the galaxy, or worse." Mitchell addressed the fleet. "Our plan is simple. Stay in tight formation. If a ship gets separated, continue to the rally point near Jupiter. Earth must be warned, even if only 1 ship makes it through." The Phoenix led the way, its enhanced hull glowing as it approached the slipstream. Lisa Morgan, at the science station, counted down. "Slipstream entry in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The ships plunged into the blue vortex. Immediately, they were caught in currents of energy that pulled at them from all directions. The Phoenix shuddered violently. Warning lights flashed across every station. "Hull integrity at 70%. Wells shouted over the noise. "The Delvian ship is breaking up," Garcia reported, watching a smaller vessel begin to come apart in the stream. Mitchell gripped his chair. "Can we reach them with a tractor beam?" "Too late," Carter said grimly as the ship disappeared in a flash of light. For 7 days, they fought through the slipstream. 2 more ships were lost. The survivors emerged battered but functioning at a point Mitchell recognized from old star charts, the Kuiper Belt at the edge of Earth's solar system. "We made it," Morgan whispered, her voice cracking with emotion. "We're home." Only 9 ships of their original 12 had survived the journey. They limped toward the inner solar system, sending repair teams to fix the worst damage. As they approached Mars orbit, Garcia sat up straight at his console. "Captain, I'm detecting defense platforms. Hundreds of them. Earth has built a defensive ring around the entire system. They've been busy while we were gone," Mitchell said with a hint of pride. "The platforms are locking weapons on us," Wells warned. "They're treating us as hostiles." Mitchell wasn't surprised. The Phoenix barely resembled an Earth ship anymore. "Open a channel," he ordered. "All frequencies." Garcia nodded. "Channel open." Mitchell took a deep breath. "This is Captain Alan Mitchell of the Earth ship Pathfinder, now called Phoenix. We disappeared 15 years ago. We have returned with allies and a warning. Earth is in danger of imminent invasion by a hostile force called the Hegemony." For long moments, there was silence. Then a voice responded, formal, suspicious. "Unidentified fleet. This is Earth Defense Command. We have no record of any surviving Pathfinder crew. The ship was declared lost 15 years ago. Hold your position for inspection, or you will be fired upon." Carter looked at Mitchell. "They don't believe us." "Can't blame them," Mitchell replied. "We show up in alien ships with alien allies after being presumed dead for 15 years. He reopened the channel. "Earth Defense Command, we understand your caution. We will hold position and submit to inspection. But please hurry. The Hegemony Scout Force is only days behind us, and their main fleet will arrive within months. Earth needs to prepare." Another pause, then, "Hold your position. A security team is being dispatched. Any movement toward Earth will be considered hostile." As they waited, Mitchell looked out at the blue planet that had once been home. It looked the same, but he knew from the defensive platforms that Earth had changed. And so had he and his crew. "Do you think they'll listen to us?" Carter asked quietly. Mitchell watched as a squadron of Earth ships approached. Designs he'd never seen before, more advanced than anything Earth had when they left. The Earth inspection ship docked with the Phoenix. 20 armed soldiers in sleek black uniforms entered with weapons raised. Their leader, a stern-faced woman with commander insignia, stepped forward. "I am Commander Susan Lee of Earth Defense Force. You claim to be the long-lost Pathfinder crew. We will need proof." Mitchell nodded. "Of course. We have ship logs, DNA records, and personal items we carried from Earth." The soldiers scanned each crew member. They looked shocked when the devices showed matches with Pathfinder personnel files, despite the physical changes in the crew. "These readings are unexpected," Commander Lee said, lowering her weapon slightly. "But you have alien implants and modifications. And these other ships, allies," Mitchell explained. "Species fighting against the same enemy that now threatens Earth." After hours of questioning and scanning, the Phoenix crew was cleared to travel to Earth Space Station Alpha, a massive structure in orbit that hadn't existed when they left Earth. Only Mitchell, Carter, and Wright were permitted to go. Their alien allies remained under watch. The space station was impressive, larger than any orbital structure humans had built before the Pathfinder mission. Inside, they were led to a conference room where 3 people waited. "Admiral John Bennett," Mitchell said with surprise, recognizing his old academy roommate despite the years that had passed. Bennett now wore the uniform of Earth Fleet's highest rank. Bennett's face showed no emotion. "Alan Mitchell died 15 years ago, as far as we knew. Yet here you stand, looking half alien with technology we can't even identify." "It's me, John. We shared a room at the academy. You snored so loudly I had to wear earplugs." A small smile flickered across Bennett's face, then vanished. "DNA tests confirm you're Mitchell, or at least started as him. But that doesn't mean we can trust you." Mitchell understood their caution. "Admiral, the Hegemony is real. Their scout force will be here in days. Their main fleet follows months later. They conquer or destroy all species they consider inferior, which is everyone except the 7 ruling species." The other officials looked skeptical. One said, "We've detected no signs of any alien fleet." "You wouldn't," Wright explained. "Their cloaking technology is beyond your sensors. We only found ways to detect them after years of studying their ships." Carter stepped forward. "We've brought defensive technology that can help Earth prepare. Shields, weapons, detection systems, all superior to what the Hegemony expects you to have." Bennett looked troubled. Even if we believe you, you're asking us to trust technology we don't understand from aliens we've never met. You trusted me once, Mitchell said quietly, when you recommended me for Pathfinder Captain. Bennett was silent for a long moment, then nodded to an aide. The large screen on the wall lit up, showing news footage from cities around Earth. Crowds gathered, all looking up at the sky. Word has leaked about your return, Bennett said. The public is calling it a miracle. Some are calling it a trick or invasion. It's neither, Mitchell replied. It's a warning and an opportunity. After hours of discussions, Bennett made his decision. You'll be quarantined on the station while we verify your story and examine your technology. Your alien allies remain confined to their ships, if your warning proves true. It will, Mitchell assured him. 5 days later, Earth's long-range sensors, enhanced with Phoenix technology, detected the Hegemony Scout Force entering the solar system, just as Mitchell had warned. Bennett called an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders. The Phoenix crew was brought in to explain what they knew about Hegemony tactics and technology. This scout force is just the beginning, Mitchell explained to the room full of generals and presidents. Their job is to assess Earth's defenses and send that information back to the main fleet. So we destroy them before they can report, one general suggested. Wright shook his head. If they don't report back, the main fleet will arrive with their full strength instead of just what they think they need. Our best chance is to let them see some of our defenses, but not all. Earth's leaders looked uncertain, but Bennett stood up. I've known Alan Mitchell for 30 years. If he says this is our best chance, I believe him. The Earth Defense Force, working with the Phoenix crew, prepared a strategy. They would show enough strength to make the Hegemony cautious, but hide their true capabilities for the final battle. As Earth mobilized, Mitchell looked out a viewport at the planet he hadn't seen in 15 years. Do you think we have a chance? Carter asked, joining him. Mitchell nodded. Better than anyone knows. The Hegemony has never faced humans before. They have no idea how we think, how we fight. 6 months passed quickly. Earth transformed under the guidance of the Phoenix crew and their alien allies. Orbital defense platforms were upgraded with Thraxian shield technology. Earth ships were fitted with Malakon weapon systems. Thousands of small fighter craft were built using Delvian engine designs. Peter Wright worked day and night with Earth engineers, teaching them how to combine human creativity with alien technology. Don't just copy their designs, he told them. Improve them. The Hegemony expects standard tactics. We need to surprise them. Ryan Garcia traveled around the world, setting up communication systems that linked Earth's defenses with their alien allies. He also sent secret messages to resistance cells throughout Hegemony space, preparing them for coordinated strikes. Lisa Morgan trained Earth scientists to understand alien biology and technology. The Hegemony believes they are superior because they've never been truly challenged, she explained. Their arrogance is their weakness. Samantha Wells drilled with Earth's military forces, teaching them new battle strategies. The Hegemony fights as individuals, each species using their own tactics, she said. We fight as one force, humans and aliens together. Captain Mitchell and Admiral Bennett stood in the command center of Space Station Alpha, reviewing the defense plan one final time. Earth's leaders had finally accepted the truth and committed all resources to the coming battle. The main Hegemony fleet will arrive tomorrow, Mitchell said, pointing to the tactical display. 500 ships, at least. We'll be ready, Bennett replied. Every nation has contributed forces. It's the first time in history Earth has truly been united. Mitchell nodded. Unity is something the Hegemony doesn't understand. They rule through fear and force, not cooperation. The next day, alarms sounded throughout the solar system. The Hegemony fleet emerged from light speed just beyond Mars orbit, hundreds of massive warships, each larger than anything Earth had built. All defense stations, report, Bennett ordered from the command center, where he stood with Mitchell. Outer defenses ready, came the reply. Inner system shields at full power. The leader of the Hegemony fleet sent a message to Earth. His face appeared on screens worldwide, a six-eyed being with gray skin and a cruel expression. "Primitive humans," he said in perfect English, "your planet has been selected for colonization. Surrender now, and you may serve as workers. Resist, and you will be eliminated." Bennett looked at Mitchell, who nodded. Bennett sent Earth's reply, "We decline your offer." The battle began immediately. The Hegemony ships advanced, firing weapons that could destroy entire cities. They expected Earth to fall quickly. They were wrong. The upgraded defense platforms absorbed the first wave of attacks. Earth's ships moved in formations the Hegemony had never seen before. The Phoenix led a strike force directly at the enemy center, its advanced shields deflecting their strongest weapons. "They're confused by our tactics," Wells reported from her battle station. "They expected us to defend, not attack." In space around Jupiter, a second force of alien allies emerged from hiding, attacking the Hegemony from behind. Throughout the battle, Garcia received messages from across the galaxy. Resistance forces were rising up on multiple Hegemony worlds. The fighting was fierce. Earth lost many ships and brave soldiers. The space around Mars became a graveyard of destroyed vessels from both sides. The Phoenix took heavy damage, but continued to fight. "Captain," Carter called out on the bridge of the Phoenix, "the Hegemony flagship is changing position. They're preparing to retreat." Mitchell shook his head. "Not yet. We need to finish this." He opened a channel to Bennett. "Admiral, we need to capture their command ship intact. If we do, we can broadcast the truth to all Hegemony worlds." Bennett agreed. The Phoenix, despite its damage, led a final assault on the massive Hegemony flagship. Wright pushed the engines beyond safety limits. Wells commanded the boarding party. They fought their way to the command center where the Hegemony leaders were trying to escape. The six-eyed leader looked shocked when humans burst into his control room. "Impossible," he said. "You are a primitive species." "We were," Mitchell told him as his team secured the ship's communications array. "You should have left us alone." Garcia connected to the Hegemony's network and broadcast images across the galaxy. Humans and their allies fighting together, defeating the supposedly invincible Hegemony forces. He included proof of the Hegemony leaders' lies and corruption. Throughout Hegemony space, oppressed species saw the broadcast. Inspired by Earth's example, they rose up against their rulers. The great empire that had stood for centuries began to crumble in a single day.